So, Skulduggery Pleasant, we're so pleased to have managed to get you into the studio and away from your busy and hectic schedule of saving the world.
It's my pleasure.
I'm very, very pleased to meet you. Now, look, I've got loads of questions here from loads of fans. You've got a big following around the world, and they have been asking questions about you. They're dying to know so much about you, so please tell me, what's it like, Skelett?
Right, grand. Well, yes, the whole skeleton thing, it really isn't as bad as it sounds, you know. For instance, I never put on weight, for one thing. I never have a bad hair day, for another. It took a little getting used to, I'll admit, but for the first few weeks, I kept expecting my jaw to fall off. But I like to think that I've grown into a very well-adjusted skeleton. I'm happy with who I am, if you know what I mean, so thank you very much.
Yes, well, I mean, you're looking very, very good on it.
Thank you very much.
You know, very fit. Now, I mean, one of the other questions that people keep asking about you, you know, are there any times when your magic's got you into an embarrassing situation at all?
Me? No. Oh, but I did witness an amusing event when an evil sorcerer, who shall remain nameless to spare his blushes...
Are you sure you want to make it known?
I think I shall, just in case, you know, protecting the innocent and that. Anyway, he tried to evade me by turning invisible in a crowded marketplace. He really should have practiced that skill a little harder, I can tell you, because while his clothes became transparent, he himself did not. So, needless to say, he surrendered himself immediately and asked for something to cover himself up. I gave him my hat, which was a waste of a good hat, if you ask me.
An evil sorcerers never quite look right without their clothes on.
Very true.
Yeah, absolutely. You are brilliant at the magic and all the rest of it. People out there are asking, what is your best one? What is the grand finale of magic that you can do?
Actually, there's a tough question. You know, how long have you got? Well, you see, I'm an elemental, which means I have some degree of influence over fire, water, air, and earth. But I must admit, I do have another trick or two up my sleeve. But my best one, no, I'm afraid I can't reveal that to you just yet.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry, but rest assured, when I do, it will be spectacular. Probably.
Well, if I can't press you on that one, then tell me something about these three names. I mean, I'm sure lots of people out there are quite confused about this.
Yes, the three names. Well, now, you see, names are power, you see. When we're born, we are given a name, right? But that name can be used against us to control us, like. So sorcerers take another name to protect ourselves. But there is a third name, a true name, we call it, the source of all our power. And this name rests in our dreams and should never be spoken to another person. But the name I took, Skulduggery Pleasant, and the reasons I took it, that's a secret.
Secrets going around in your life?
Well, you know, some things have to remain a secret.
Well, perhaps you could tell all your fans out there what is it that actually made you become a detective. That's not a secret, is it?
No, not at all. For a time I was a soldier, for lack of a better word. I fought against evil and I did my best. But when that war was over, I realized there was still a lot of fighting left to be done in the world. Listen, as a wise man once said, you've got to be one of the good guys, because there's way too many of the bad. And I guess being a detective meant that I could help the people of the world to combat the evil in the world.
So if detectiving hadn't appealed to you, what do you think you might have ended up doing with your life?
I'd be a mad old hermit in a cave, battling rock monsters and saving the world from fungus. That's what I'd be doing. I know that for sure.
How far would you actually go to solve a crime?
How far would I go? Exceedingly far, trust me.
Yes, I think we've just discovered that. So, of all the monsters and the weird things that have ever happened to you, who's the freakiest looking person you've ever met?
Now, you see, freaky is in the eye of the beholder, isn't it? I try not to judge anyone by how they look. After all, some people might even consider me to be freaky. Perhaps you do, but I suppose if you were to insist on an actual answer, I'd have to say I once met a gentleman who had his face on the inside. That was just odd.
Really odd.
It was indeed.
So, obviously your fans want to know, what are the things you love, but mostly, what things do you hate?
Well, hate is a very strong word, but I really hate it when people try to kill me. I think it's just
thing in your life that you could actually change, what would that be?
Now, let me ask you a question. Why would I want to change anything?
Yeah, good point.
Am I not perfect the way I am? Thank you. I think so, too.
Okay, now then, the last two questions here now.
Grand, fire away.
Okay. What is your most prized possession?
That would be my car. It's a 1954 Bentley R-Type Continental, and it's beautiful.
And so, Skulduggery, I mean, you know yourself better than anybody else in this world.
I hope so.
Yeah, and how would you describe yourself in 5 words?
5 words. Right. Here goes, in no particular order, least of all alphabetical. Charming, witty, lethal, brilliant, and modest.
Thank you so much for being in the studio with us today.
Thank you very much.
We look forward to your next adventure.
So do I, and I hope I survive. Very pleasant it will be too.